Hey there guys, this is Michael V, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the card game Epic Battles. I'm going to try my best to describe how this game works. Epic Battles was made in 2005 and was based off of Mortal Kombat Deception. There's also a Street Fighter version of Epic Battles and a Tekken version of Epic Battles. And the cool thing is, you can actually fight amongst the three games. So if somebody has a Street Fighter deck, it can work against a Mortal Kombat deck. Or you can use a Mortal Kombat deck to fight against someone with a Tekken deck. In Epic Battles, you use your deck as health. So if someone does 3 damage, it means you will discard 3 cards from the top of your deck. When you run out of cards, you are dead and you have lost the game. The building of your deck is pretty standard. You can have 60 cards in your deck and you are allowed no more than 4 copies of the same card. In addition, you can also have a character card that will change the effects of your deck. For instance, this is a Scorpion card, and it allows me to steal energy from my opponents while playing, which I'll describe energy in a moment. First things first, I have to get you used to the anatomy of the card. So here we have a single card. On the top it says high attack, weapon. High attack means that it can be blocked only with a high block, and weapon lets me combo this off of any card that says I can use a weapon to combo. This number right here represents how much damage it does. So if this attack hits, my opponent has to discard 4 cards. This number down here at the bottom, this green number, that represents how much energy I have to pay in order to play it. This right here says projectile. That means if I have an attack that is a projectile, I can combo those 2 attacks together. So I can put down my weapon attack and then put down a projectile attack and add that damage to this card. Of course, finally, there's a hit effects right here. Always read your hit effects before you put the card down so that you make sure that you're getting the absolute best effect of the card. As I mentioned before, there's green numbers here that represent energy. The way you gain energy is by attacking, whether it's blocked or not. This card costs me no energy, so I don't have to worry about attacking with it. I don't waste any energy. I put down the card. Whether it is attacked or blocked, the second after I put down the card, that card becomes energy. So now it is energy. Lucky for me, this projectile has a weapon combo off of it. So I am going to use this weapon attack. But this weapon cost me 1 energy. Since I already attacked with this card, it's now energy, so I can pay that energy by putting it into my discard pile, and now I can attack. The number for energy also represents the amount of chip it does. If someone were to block my attack, they wouldn't do 4 damage, but since I paid 1 energy, they will have to pay 1 damage. So each round in this game can be divided into 4 steps. The first step is both players will draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. The second step is if you have an event card, which is a card that you can activate its effects at any time, you can put it face down in the arena. This event card can sit here through the entirety of the game, and at any moment you can turn it over and use its effects. For example, this event card is Dirty Tricks, and it allows me to say that they are not allowed to block my next attack. So if I have a big attack coming, I can flip this card and say, well, you can't block this attack. Step 3 is where all of the action happens. In step 3, players will alternate taking turns on attacking. In this step you have 2 options, to attack or to pass. I've already explained how energy works to you. So for instance, right now I have an attack that costs me 0 energy, so I can attack. My opponent can choose to block. If I have no more combos after this attack, then it's my opponent's turn to attack me. The fourth and final step is the discard. Once both players have passed and neither of them have any more moves in their hands, they must discard down to 3 cards. And then you start all over. So if I have 3 cards in my hand, which I do, I go back to step 1 and I can draw 3 more cards. Alright guys, so I'm going to simulate a full game of Mortal Kombat Epic Battles so that you can understand how the game works a little bit deeper. Normally you have 60 cards in your deck, however to keep the video short, I only have 10 cards in each deck. This is going to be Scorpion versus Boraicho. Boraicho doesn't have very many special moves, but he has really killer character-specific cards. And a character-specific card is what it sounds like. It's a card that only that character can use. So each player is going to start by pulling 3 cards. So Scorpion pulled 1 weapon card that costs no energy, another weapon card that costs no energy, and a high block. So it's a really good starter pull because since he has no energy, low energy cards are good. Keep in mind that normally your opponent would not be seeing your cards. So it looks like Boraicho pulled a low projectile that costs 0 energy, a low block, and a low projectile that also costs 0 energy. So that's a very good pull for both players. You decide who starts however you want. In the Nexus we just do rock, paper, scissors. I'm going to have Scorpion start because he's my favorite character. Looks like I have a weapon that attacks into a projectile, a weapon that projects into a projectile. So it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to go ahead and attack with my high attack weapon. Its hit effect is that I can switch 3 weapons from my hand with 3 weapons in my energy pile. Since my energy pile is pretty much non-existent except for this 1 card, I will not use its hit effect. So Boraicho needs, since this is a high weapon, Boraicho needs a high block to defend. He does not have a high block, he has a low block. So this card hits, and Boraicho has to discard 2 cards from his deck. 1, 2. Now, since I do not have any other moves for this turn, because I cannot combo, it is now Boraicho's turn. It looks like Boraicho has 2 projectiles into punches. So I'm going to start with the Banshee Scream, which is a very good card because when it is in your energy pile, your rival must pay 1 energy before blocking any of your next projectiles, which is great. So this is a low attack. Scorpion has a high block, so he cannot block, so he has to do 2 damage in accordance to that card. So 1, 2. I don't really have much of a choice as Scorpion other than to use my 1 attack. So I'm going to go ahead and attack. Now I have 2 energy. This is a high attack. Boraicho does not have a high attack, so he must pay 2 damage to that attack. 1, 2. It is now Boraicho's turn to attack me. He only has 1 move right now, which is a low projectile. So he is going to put that out there. Low projectile. It does 1 damage, but its hit effect is that I can discard the top of your rival's deck for each projectile in your energy pile. So he has 1 projectile in his energy pile. When he puts this out, it does 1 damage, so 1 plus 2, it does 2 damage because he cannot block it. Because that is a low attack. So Scorpion does 2 damage. Scorpion is going to pass. And Boraicho is going to pass because all they have is blocks. So then they pull 3 more cards. 1, 2, 3. Same thing here. 1, 2, 3. Now both players' decks are empty. So whoever gets the next hit is going to win. Looks like Boraicho has a low block, a high block, and a low block, and then a zero cost energy attack. Scorpion has a high block, a low attack, a high attack, and a low block. Because Scorpion went first the last round, Boraicho will start now. So Boraicho will start his attack with a high attack punch. Because Scorpion has a high block, he is able to block that attack. So Scorpion will use this high block and discard it. Because Boraicho has no other moves, he will pass. It is now Scorpion's turn. He is going to use his high attack weapon, which will cost him 1 energy. So he discards 1 energy from his energy pile. This attack will do 4 damage. Now this is a smart move because Boraicho doesn't have a deck. So it is a high attack. Boraicho is going to use his high block, but because it does 1 chip of damage, it means that Boraicho loses the match because he has no more cards to pay damage. That's a basic rundown of how the game works. For anybody out there who plays this game avidly, you know every bit as much as I do that it's a lot more complicated than just that. But that is the bare bones basics of how to play Epic Battles.